Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the XiansAtWork Morning Minutes podcast. The goal of the show is to help you stay connected and aligned with God as you work through this day. This episode is for the week beginning March 10, 2014. I'm Dr. Mike. It's great you're with us, and let's get on with it and right into our opening prayer. God, I am your created child. Thank you for the gift of today and that I have the opportunity to glorify you with my thoughts, words, and deeds. I pray that I will stridently and joyfully live out the purpose that you have set before me. I ask you to forgive my sins and continually speak to my heart. Amen. Let's spend a moment talking about your day and a few motivational thoughts to keep in mind. So let's talk about belief becoming reality. One of the challenges we have in life is that we have to reconcile what we can touch and tangibly perceive now with what we want to touch and tangibly perceive in the future. What we can touch, we call reality, and what we can foresee, we call belief and faith. A paradox is that in order to have something in the future, we have to abandon our reliance on objective reality and embrace a subjective belief that it will come. You may have a number of desires for touchable, tangible things in your life. And don't get caught in the trap of thinking that we're talking just stuff. Relationships, feelings, and attitudes are all in this game. But if you don't have the right object, like a family home, a relationship like a close friend, or the job or business you find meaningful and rewarding, even an attitude like that of gratitude, it could be because you don't really believe that it's possible for you. You haven't let go enough of today's reality and allowed for enough belief. You have to put faith in it. One of my simple examples is that I'm always critiquing my basketball abilities. Right now, I feel sufficient, but not satisfied with the today reality of my gameplay. So I go to the gym and practice the fundamentals a lot. I have a belief that if I keep at something and put an importance on it, then my future will be different than my today. And you know what? It is. I am a much better player now than I was a couple years ago. Even if I don't really feel it, the truth is that my reality has changed because of my faith and practice routine. It could be that you don't believe that you should have the thing you're striving for. You don't believe that you're worth it or deserve it or can achieve it. It's never going to happen. You don't believe because it hasn't happened yet. And that's a chicken and egg thing. That's what faith is all about. So how do we build belief? There's a few simple steps. We have to make small steps forward, then pause to witness and record the small wins and gains as a result of our belief, and then we build up and build on. The formula behind our changing beliefs is quite simple. Attitudes plus behaviors equals consequences. Or said differently, what you think affects what you do, and what you think and do leads to what you get. If you don't like what you're getting, go back a step and see if what you're doing is the problem. And if you need, go back a step further and see if it's your attitude that's the problem. Guaranteed, if you shift your attitude, you're going to see different results. This is like the rudder on a ship. A small change in one place is leveraged into a massively different results over time. And your life and faith is literally changing course. One of the challenges, though, is it can be difficult to see the changes in your behaviors and results. It's just like when you're a kid growing up. Except for puberty-style milestones, you really don't notice the changes in you day to day. But you look at yearbook photos or birthday pictures, and holy smokes, you're a lot different than 6 months before or 12 months before. Teachers say this all the time, and coaches too. At the end of the school year or season, the kids are much different than when they came in. Now in this example, time is a major shaping force, but you don't want to rely on time to generically and eventually shape you. So the big question is, what do you want to shape you, if not time? One answer is you. You shape you. And definitely, if you're not going to do it, others will, such as marketers and advertisers, your boss or your spouse or your friends. Yes, lots of people are intentionally and unintentionally shaping you. And what you need to determine for yourself is what forces are going to guide and shape your attitudes, your life. My thought to you is that you need to include God in your answer. Yes, you need to believe in yourself. And yes, you need to believe in God to shift and direct your attitudes, so that you can engage in the behaviors that lead to the results you want. I saw this playing out incredibly in the course of my XiansAtWork Mission Challenge. At the end of it, I didn't have a new car or fancy TV. What I did have was a more solid relationship with God, where I was way more comfortable putting decisions and my needs in God's hands, and letting Him direct my attitudes and actions. Only a short 12 weeks ago, I would not have believed that I could be passionately blogging, talking, and encouraging others about Jesus. In that reality, it was something that I kind of wanted to do, but I did not put importance on it, and I did not believe that it would become a serious part of my future life. In short, I felt that I was doomed to a perpetual cycle of discovery, then doubt, resulting in frustrated agnosticism. Now, things are much different. So for whatever you want in your life, you have to grant yourself a grain of faith that it can come true for you. Next, you need to examine your attitudes and behaviors and identify the things you perceive and do that are taking away from your desired results. Then you need to choose to actually think different and behave differently. After all, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And finally, you need to keep a record of your life so that changes in your attitudes and behaviors and results can be more visible to you. Hey, all kids eventually realize they're growing up, but the lucky ones have records to show the progress and changes along the way. So for homework, if you need help, there's a couple easy things you can do. Go get inspired by people that are actively making change and influencing change. These are typically our creatives in music, arts, writing, and other spaces. And they're making things different, and we can all see it. Dive into the heads and lives of people that are lighthouses to your goals. Read their biographies, listen to their messages, ask them questions, and follow their advice. You're not them, but if you invite them into your space, you can borrow their attitudes and behaviors until they become your own. Recognize that they are not you, nor you them, but you have the same potential to think and act like them. Find an accountability partner, or coach, or peer group. Anyone who is willing to encourage you towards the goals in your life. Lean on your community. Nobody is successful and autonomous. Accept that and leverage that. And use visualization. If you can see it in your mind's eye, you can achieve it. Your brain has a hard time distinguishing what comes from visualization and what comes from actual perception. Visualization lets your brain accept a future reality and today's reality. And lastly, ask God to join you on the trip and let Him help you. So keep working at it, build momentum, take it day by day. Don't give up, be dedicated to your movement, help others, and of course, appreciate being alive. Christian Living Step Work is a simple path based on Christian recovery groups that provides a solid foundation for Christian living in today's difficult world. Each month, a step is addressed with advice that it's simple to say, but not necessarily easy to implement. It's March, so we're on step 3, which is, we made a decision to completely surrender our lives to Jesus Christ. The principle of this step is about faith, and our grounding text is from Deuteronomy 4:29. But from there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find Him if you search for Him with all your heart and all your soul. And this week, consider that turning your life over to Jesus is about faith. It is about perspective and knowing what you can control and what you can't. As importantly, it's about realizing what was never in your control to begin with. Critical to this step is willingness. You have to be willing to turn your life over. True, we have free will and we have the ability to make our decisions. This is really tough because we like to see ourselves in the driver's seat. But we also appreciate that there is more to our life than the pursuit of personal happiness. As Christians, we believe that a second kingdom is coming, and thus our principal choice is to what extent are we going to rejoice and help usher in that kingdom. When we answer, to a great extent, then we move over to the passenger seat and let the better driver steer the course. After all, would you rather be the passenger on the bus that gets to the destination, or the driver of the bus that veers off the road? So take a moment, reflect on your life's course, and to what extent you are driving, being an engaged passenger, or most annoyingly, the backseat know-it-all. So, as you think about the messages in this show, now is a good time to call to mind the people, places, and situations that are on your heart and ask for God's direction, blessing, and support. We'll resume the show and close it out in a few moments. Let's close with a prayer. As you think of your day today and what it will hold, I pray that you will have the strength, courage, and conviction to hold tight to Christ, remain free of sin, and serve according to your calling. May God's peace be with you. Amen. Thank you so much for listening. I value you so much and pray for you and your healthy Christian life. For more ideas on living Christian and for witnessing at work, visit XiansAtWork.com for resources,